it's like I don't know, like a numbers geek, and I love fashion, so it makes like the two merge together. Inventory management is my thing. It's like my jam. Um, so I'll explain to you what we do. It's a little bit different than other people. And if you have questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. And I'll kind of jump around my presentation. I have notes, and I use these notes every time. And every time I give it, it's a different presentation as I jump around. And eventually, I'll get everything covered. So the big thing is, I think people need to understand how the inventory is at the warehouse. Because if you go in and you just order what you need in your racks, you're apt to get duplicates. If you just go in and say you need 5 Cassies and so that are mediums, and you order 5 Cassies that are mediums, you're going to get duplicates. It's like, and if you don't, God bless you. I don't know how you did it. Because how the warehouse is, they'll get in these big trash bag looking things, and it'll have one print, one size, all in that trash bag. And they open 2, 3, sometimes 4, but usually it's 2 or 3 of those bags. And they open it on a huge table, the curating table. And then they get these under the bed totes, and they fill the totes with 20 pieces of clothing of the same size, the same style. So if you're working with Amelia's, at the large Amelia table, that's all you're filling up. And you're just grabbing and mixing from that bag, those 3 or 4 bags that were opened up. You're going to curate a box of 20. So then once they get 20, they put the cover on, they stack it. They get another under the bed bucket bin thing, fill it up with 20, and keep moving. So you're only getting out of that one bin, you're going to have up to 4 different prints, but typically 2 or 3. So then those go to the part of the warehouse for storage. And then the part of the warehouse that your order actually comes down is, so there's big shelves on one side, big shelves on the other, and then like I don't want to call it a conveyor belt because it doesn't move by itself. It's one of those conveyor belts that has the rolly metal thing and you push it along. So your picker will have the box, they'll have your sheet, and they'll say, oh, she needs 3 Amelias in size large. And they'll take the underbed bin, pull it out, and there's one behind it too and one behind it. There's 3 rows of it. So they'll pull out and they'll grab your 3. And they're boom, boom, boom. They're not going to go 3 back. They're just going to pull out that one bin and take from it. So if you ordered 10 Cassies, all the same size, you're most likely going to get 2 or 3 prints, and that's it. You're going to be having duplicates, which we'll talk about that in a minute. It's not a bad thing. But a lot of times you don't want that. That's just by nature, you want everything to be unique and fabulous and wonderful. And the more prints you want, that's what you want for your business. So what you're going to want to do is do small batch ordering and more often. So if I have to order 70 pieces to replenish what I just sold this weekend, I'm going to break it up into 2 orders, maybe 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon, and I'll do 35 pieces in each. That's kind of my sweet spot. I like to do 35, maybe 40-piece orders, but that's it. So when they come in, I can inventory them. I can take all my photos. I can play around with them and just love on those 40 pieces. And then if like one is missing, like say UPS got delayed, the train flipped over, and I'm not relying on 70 pieces. I've at least got my 35. That other 35 is missing. I'll deal with that as it needs to be. But I have things rolling in constantly. So that's what I do, is I do small batch ordering, no more than 2 per size. So if I need my 5 Amelias that are all the same size, I'll do 2 today, maybe 2 this afternoon, and then 1 tomorrow. So my mix is going to be nice. So that's why I do that. Let's see. So I'm going to jump around to actually that. So if you do get, you ordered, and for some reason, all you got, like the other day, I ordered my Jills, and I ordered 4 Jills. Actually, I ordered 2 Jills in the morning. The next day, I ordered 2 more Jills, the same size. And then the next day, I ordered 2 Jills of a different size, but it was close enough. So I ended up with 4 large Jills, all the same exact pattern, and 2 extra large Jills, the same pattern. Essentially, a Jill in a large and an extra large is pretty much the same. If you can wear one, you can wear the other. So I have 6 Jills the same, exactly the same. And I was like, you know what? Instead of me like boo-hooing and complaining I have 4, what I'm going to do and what I have done is I took a picture of myself wearing the Jill. Luckily, it is my size. If it was not my size, I'd put it on the mannequin and jazz it up. But it was my size. So now I could be like, hey guys, I have some more of these. Who wants to be my twin? I did this the other day with what I thought was the ugliest dress in the world, okay? Some you guys might love it, and God bless you. That's why Patrick makes things that are so different. And when you get your box, there's so many different prints and styles. It's not just what you love. But this thing, it looked like a fruit salad. And I was like, oh gosh, I'm going to end up with this fruit salad dress forever and ever and ever. Luckily, it almost fit me. It was one size too big, so I put it on, made sure my hair and makeup looked really cute, and I pinned it in the back so it looked like my size. And I took photos. Literally, I was holding a bowl of fruit, and I was joking around that this dress was so super cute and how wonderful that Travis, my husband, bought it for me. And I got so lucky that I had one more come in my box in an extra large. Yes, there you go. Would anybody like to buy that? I sold it within an hour. Within an hour, I was like, here you go. Like, I mailed that bad boy off fast. So that's what's
hilarious that somebody put, such a cute dress. He did great.
I know. And I was like, if Travis ever bought me that, I was like, oh my God. But see, in our VIP, they know that Travis does buy Amelia's for me all the time. Like, I'll come home to have a pile of Amelia dresses, and I'm like, I can't wear them all, Travis. That's just his thing. So for him to buy me a hideous one too, he has done that. So it kind of fit with what happens in our life. And so it was not abnormal. And I loved on it, and people bought it. So that's what I'm going to do with the Jills this Wednesday, is people are going to be like, oh, I want to twin with Chris. Luckily, the Jill is pretty. Like, it really is a nice Jill pattern. So I'm not going to have to work too hard. But the other thing I'll do is I'll put it on the mannequin and display it. Now, I do most, I would say 90% of our stuff is all online. So I take photos of everything. And then if I sell it in home, I just delete the photo. So what I do is I style it 4 different ways. So when you look at that Jill, now my style today might be more girly and feminine, but then somebody else could look at that and be like, oh, well, I can wear that more casual and with a tank top. Somebody else might do it for like a business attire. So I'm going to style it 4 different ways for 4 different clients. The same thing with that dress, the fruit salad dress. You could do that with inventory that's not moving. If you have inventory that's just kind of been sitting there for a while, especially this time of year where things are switching over from being summer inventory to fall inventory, put it on, restyle it, redo your photos, show your customers that the pieces, when you first look at it, it's going to scream summer. But if you style it differently, it could really look fallish. And it was interesting. I always do warehouse polls. Like when I go out to the warehouse, I'll do a pre-buy. And I had somebody in this past spring who I did a pre-buy for, and I sent it to her and even attached a note. I said, when you look at this, you're going to question me. Trust me, it's fashion forward. There's something really amazing. I'll show you my mannequin pictures. I have them all set up for you in just a second. So I said, trust me on this. It looks like this is a fall piece. It is not. It is the newest, hottest fashion that just came out. I said, this piece has lots of browns. It has darker tones in it. It had like a more muted tones. I said, but this is an all-purpose piece. This is going to be like a staple piece that makes a statement. It's almost the same as you getting a black Amelia or a black Cassie. It's a staple piece. So she got it, and a couple days later, she's like, I'm trying to love on this. I really am, but it's not my style. It's not where I think I'm at. And I just look at it and I think fall. And I really wanted a beginning of summer piece. And I said, absolutely not a problem. She's like, can I get maybe some florals? Do you have any florals? And I was like, yep, that's fine. I have no problem. And normally with my pre-buys, I don't do exchanges, but this is a super crazy, awesome VIP who I love on tremendously. So I exchanged it out. I gave her what she wanted. And then a week went by and she messaged me and she said, you know what, you were right. Can you send me that? I really love it. And I can see where you're going with it now. I'm starting to see pieces like that in magazines. And you were so right. So, you know, present things to people and they're going to eventually, your credibility will become there. You know, like you're a fashion consultant, take some liberties with that. Let me show you when you were asking. We do. I almost hit leave meeting. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to screen share with you one thing that I do to increase my credibility with my customers as a fashion consultant. All of my headers of my albums, my album covers, is a picture of me wearing the item and loving on the item. Let me show you the next one. Oops. The Amelia, which I have a million gazillion of. And so people see me styling it and wearing it and loving it. It gives them permission to also then wear it. Show you. So here's an example of what I do always with my mannequins. I dress all my clothes on a mannequin, and I try as hard as possible to put it with a top and a necklace or a belt or some way to like jazz it up so it's a complete outfit that people are seeing. Now, when this sells, they might not know, like they might be like, well, I need a top to match. Do you still have this top? And I'll be like, actually, that top's a medium. It wouldn't fit you. I've jazzed it up just for the show. But let me see what else I have for you. The other thing we do is anytime we sell a bottom, we message them and say, hey, would you like me to look for a top that would look awesome with this and rock it out? Because I'm doing this in all my pictures and I'm styling it, my credibility goes up as a fashion consultant. So, and whenever they buy a top, I always say, hey, do you want me to match up a bottom for you? Vice versa. And our return rate on that is about 30%. So we have a 30% upsell because of just doing this. It does take us a little bit longer of time, but in the long run, it's so worth it. Because now people come to us and say, hey, I need things styled. And they've seen our styling and our pairing, so they know what to expect from me. And then say for like, here is an azure, and I didn't have a top in stock when I was doing this photo that matched. So I have some tank tops that just kind of are kind of neutral. So I'll pull it over. Ideally, I want to put on a classic or a perfect or an Irma, just so people can see our clothes with it. But I also like to show that like something from their own closet they already have can look just as stinking cute. So, and I make sure I style it out. Here's an example of what I don't like us to do is if, you know, it's a beautiful piece, great Lindsay, but if I then put it with instead of just showing off the Lindsay, I put it as a full outfit. Now it's in my Lindsay album, so people know that it's a Lindsay for sale and not the, you know, the top or the bottom, but they see how it can be styled and then they go, oh my gosh, you know what? I have a skirt that looks so stinking cute, and if I wore this to the office, I could totally pull that off. So that's what we like to do. And then same thing, even with something like our Amelia's, I would rather belt it up, put a necklace on it, jazz it up, than to just put it on a hanger. It just looks so much better. So let me stop screen share. How do I stop screen share? How do I do it? Oh, there we go. Stop screen share. There we go. So that's how our mannequins all look is, I like to jazz them up so it increases the credibility and eventually it pays off so much. Like I do take a few more minutes to style than if I was just to throw that on the hanger and get things, you know, photographed and out the door. But what I do is on the sides, right off the screen where you can't see, I have hooks in the walls like little nails, and that's where I keep all my accessories lined up. So it's just a quick, I like grab a necklace and I grab a belt or whatever. I have it all right there, right off screen, so nobody can see it when I take my photo, but it's all there and ready. What do I do about pieces that are smaller than my mannequin? There are some pieces that like my, you know, extra smalls and whatever. I don't squeeze them on my mannequin. I don't. So those ones do get put on a hanger. So that super small percentage of my clothes, you know, yeah. How many pieces do I have per size and style? That's a good one. So, you want me to show them? No, I'm not going to show them. We have a lot. We have actually now made 2 inventories, so that so if I put everything up in today, I'm going to put all my new stuff up in my VIPs. But at any point, if I had like a private party going on, I can run a private party and a VIP event on the exact same day, and it's totally different inventory, and I'm not going to oversell. We have a little over 3,000 pieces now in our inventory, and so that's why what we've done. So we'll take, let's see, so we do our VIPs on Wednesday. All of our new inventory goes up. I do a consistent across the board 10 of every size in every line that we have. We just don't carry the Jordans. We don't carry the Jades and Jordans. And Travis is here. He's like off screen. And we just are getting in the Sarahs. We're waiting for those. So when you do a new line, you want to make sure you have 10 deep in everything before you add something. So if you've got, all your Amelias are at 10, all your Cassies are at 10, all your Azures are at 10, and then you're like, and everything's at 10, then you can add a line. Follow the rules where you're only ordering 2 of every size. And so it might take you a week or 2 before you have enough to launch. I like to launch with 5 to 8 pieces of every size. So you don't need 10 to launch.
With the exception of extra small. So.
Okay, can you go in there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, our smaller sizes we don't usually carry that many of, and our larger sizes. So, but everything in between we do. Yeah, so I have 10, of my Randys, I have 10 of every size except the extra, extra small. We don't carry that because we carry Sloan, and Sloan 14 is pretty darn close to that extra, extra small. So that's the only one with the Randys, but we do Travis wears more Randys than anybody else. So we carry the 3X Randy. We probably have 25 in stock. But at a time, we're only going to show 10. There's a couple reasons for that for us. So you want to pop things up, pop things down. So we have a large customer base that knows us. So next week when we pop up and we have a different inventory, they're like, wait a second. Well, I wanted that Randy that I saw last week. Why isn't it here? Well, we've had 4 events since then. They don't know if it's still sitting in our boutique or if we sold it. So then they buy something, and then next week they come and there's more inventory, different inventory, and it's always rotating. It keeps people on their seats, the edge of their seats. So that's what we do. Where did I get my man? Oh, what?
Before that, I think all the messages don't always show up once they get going.
Oh, okay.
Amy had asked, I don't have any accessories since I don't dress that way. How do you recommend handling that? What is a good amount to spend on these types of things?
I go for the cheapest stuff possible. Go to Goodwill, Salvation Army, thrift stores. We have taken costume jewelry, legitimately broken costume jewelry, and gotten it crazy cheap, a quarter or 50 cents at a yard sale. And belts, the same thing that you would never actually wear. Ask your friends for jewelry that's broken or belts that's broken that they're going to get rid of and throw away anyways. Because when you put it on the mannequin and you turn that belt so that the actual buckle is broken, turn it around backwards, and it still looks stinking cute on your mannequin. Of course, you're not going to walk down Main Street wearing a broken belt, but nobody knows that your mannequin has a broken belt. So I just at first got things that were super crazy cheap, and then eventually I started wearing the pieces myself, and so my own collection is hanging up here, and so that's the more expensive stuff that gets, switched out. When we go to California, we go to Joya, super crazy cheap stuff there, but obviously you can't just go to Joya every other day. Who said yes, show us? What do you want me to show us?
For those small pieces, by the way, I was always pretty lazy with them, but when my mom did my pictures for me, she would pin them on. So she got just straight pins, and she'd do one side of the Cassie. So my Cassies and my extra small Randys I now pin. But if I don't feel like going to that much trouble, then I'll lay my backdrop on the floor and do it kind of like a flat lay instead of putting it on a mannequin, which of course we're not using your suggestion of using a mannequin then. The pinning takes a little bit of extra work, but it looks nice on the mannequin pin.
Yeah, because our backdrop now is not mobile. Our old backdrop was, but this one is now on the wall. So we have a table I don't know if you can see it. It's like right off screen, but it looks like it is old and weathered picnic table. So it's like what do we put? Our Sloans go on that, laying down. So,
Oh, one more. I'm sorry I keep piping in.
oh, you're fine.
A while ago, I had a paparazzi party, and I invited a bunch of LuLaRoe consultants to go on that. I actually did that because when I first started, Amy Lee Westervelt, who's mentor, in case the rest of you guys don't know who she is, she did a paparazzi party, and I ended up buying like 20 necklaces from that party because they're $5 a piece.
Right.
And so I ended up getting a ton of jewelry and being able to kind of use that on all of my mannequins. So paparazzi is a really great thing when I had my party, I probably got about 10 to 12 pieces for free. So that's a great way to get cheap jewelry. I wouldn't wear it out in public, but because it's,
right.
I mean, it would break and it kind of doesn't look the prettiest in person, but in a picture, it looks great to dress up your stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a cheap jewelry idea.
I forget about that company. And then we also get Charming Charlie, which I just learned about, like, as we move deeper into the South, which I guess they're in the North too, but I never knew about this. But Charming Charlie is online, and they'll have coupon codes, so you can get like $20 off an $80 purchase, and then you can use it on clearance stuff too. So sometimes it's not stuff like you were saying, it's not stuff you might wear outside, but on a mannequin, it looks fabulous. You know, and clearance jewelry, you do that too. Oh yeah, somebody did say Charming Charlie. I see it now. You know, but clearance stuff all the time. That's how we do it. Okay, so show you the warehouse. The big thing that we did, we grew our inventory. Now we're over 3,000 pieces. And the way we did it is we kept reinvesting in ourselves. And we were finding that the more selection we had, the more we were selling. And it was like disproportionate at first. So when we were at 325, we would do decent. And then when we doubled to 600 pieces, it more than doubled our sales. It was disproportionate. It was like a crazy weird. So I would definitely suggest that your first 90 days, definitely reinvest in yourself, in your company, in your boutique. And then there's also other times that we've done the same thing, that I've just kind of been like, you know what? I need to liven up my inventory. Let me freshen it up. And I would invest in myself for 30 days just to kind of boost it up. The other thing that we've done, and it works really well, say you just have stale inventory that you're just like, you know what, it's not moving. I can't figure out what to do. I've retaken the photos. I've restyled them. I've had in-homes. Because that's a way to get rid of stuff too, is that people have never seen your inventory, so have an in-home. So what we would do is, so say it was my Randy's, and I tested it out with a few different lines before I went public with my theory. So I tested out with Randy's, and I went and I bought 3 of every size. And then I took 3 out of inventory that I was showing. So I was showing my 3 that were new, 7 old, and then I was like highlighting, oh my gosh, I got so many new Randy's, come check it out. There's so many awesome new Randy's. So people would come to my VIP event, buy my Randy's, because that's what I promoted all week. That's what I wore all week. That's what I styled all week. And they would buy maybe a few of the new ones. They were buying a lot of the old ones. And then I would just use the old ones that I had pulled out of inventory to make that 10 as my back stock. So as I sold some, I pulled from the back stock and put it back into my photo section. Does that make sense? So I don't suggest if you don't have the money to do that, but if you're going to place an order and you needed to kind of buffer some stuff, fill an order, do that. 2 or 3 across the line, pull them out, back stock the old ones, put the new ones in. The other thing we did last fall is because I find if I don't wear it, I don't sell it. So I wasn't selling Azures. Well, I wasn't wearing Azures. So I boxed them all up. I put them away till spring because somebody had told me that the Azure is a spring skirt. It's not, folks. Whoever told me that lied. An Azure is an all-year piece, especially in the South. You wear that with a tall boot, you're rocking it, okay? You wear it, your customers will wear it. It doesn't matter where they are. They can wear leggings under that Azure. It's going to look awesome. So anyways, I took somebody's advice. I discontinued my Azures, so I boxed them all up, brought them out in the spring. And you know what I advertised in the spring after I bought just a few new pieces? Oh my gosh, guys, I have all these vintage Azures. Come on and check them out. and people were buying the Azures left and right. So just because the piece is not selling today doesn't mean it's not going to sell in a couple months. So don't get discouraged. You're in for the long haul, not the short haul. Going with, brand yourself. You are a LuLaRoe fashion consultant. You should be wearing LuLaRoe every single day, and what you wear is what you're going to sell. I made the mistake of wearing clothes and not letting my customers know what it was either. I was wearing leggings and classics and then a Lindsay over it. Well, when you do that combination and you don't tell your customers what you're wearing, it looks like an Irma. My Irma sales were amazing last fall. And I couldn't figure it out because I kept hearing people say, you're going to sell what you wear. And I was like, I know that's true. I really know, I believe you, but I don't believe you because my classic sales were almost zero. And then I realized I had seen somebody else wearing what I thought was an Irma. And I said, oh, I love your Irma. And she was like, it's a classic. And it dawned on me. I was not telling my customers what I was wearing. I was showing myself in it. I was branding myself, but I wasn't telling them. So as soon as I started telling people, look at this adorable classic I'm wearing, my classic sales went up. And they went up and up and up. The more I was saying, how cute is this classic? Look how I'm wearing it today, and I'm styling it this way and that way. My sales were going up. So really, whatever you're wearing, your customers are going to buy, and they're going to gravitate towards that. So post pictures of yourself. I know I was afraid at first to post pictures of myself wearing LuLaRoe, and sometimes I'd cut my head off because maybe they wouldn't realize it was me. Yeah, they know it's me. It's my profile posting it. So just love on it. You're going to find your best angle, that kind of thing. But whatever you're wearing is going to sell. So highlight that. What I would do, I hand Travis the phone. I put it in backwards, like selfie mode. Put it in backwards selfie mode. And then I use the timer for 10 seconds with Travis holding it. And I run and I post. It drives him crazy. But I get a better shot than if he takes the photo because then he's got like my head cut off or he's got like my bad side. But that way, that way you're having good photos of yourself being put out there. And we also paid for a professional photographer to take our photos. That was a huge game changer for us. Like people then were like, I guess took us more serious or like, I don't know. They just did. So we were going to pay her in LuLaRoe, but then we paid her in actual cash. But, so if you don't have actual cash to like just give her, to a photographer, then you can pay in Lula. We give her a choice and she chose cash, but we would have been fine with either.
I don't know if I missed it, but Sarah asked about taking your photos again. Do you retake them often or do you repost the same photo or do you switch up the photo so that it looks fresh? What do you do about that?
So it all depends. I do have some photos that I need to freshen up, but it's more when I have like downtime, like I'll do that. So I usually try to make my best photo right off the beginning, but as the season changes, I will retake my photos and I'll style them with fall accessories and fall look to it versus the summer look. But yeah, I don't do every week retaking photos. No, I do the single photos. I make sure it's really good and it's going to last me until it sells or to this new season needs to be restyled. So, and because we rotate out our photos, so this week you might get, we keep them on a cloud. So it's, you open up the drive. I can show you, hold on. Let me show you how we do it. I'm gonna share screen. Okay. I don't think you guys can see where I'm doing it. Hold on. I shared the wrong screen, I think. Okay. Can you guys see the screen now or no? I don't see the ring around it. That's why oh, there we go. Okay, you guys can see it.
Yeah, we can see it.
Perfect, okay. So, let's see. Oh, that's a good example. I don't have a lot of Azures right now. So, say here, I have, so tonight's party, I might click these, I might click those 8. But then next week's party, I might click down this way and do these ones. And of course, if it's duplicates, I don't click them both. I have in here some of them that I already have like pre-packaged. That's what I call it. So I have my backstock photos right here. And so I have these all ready to go for this week. I know those are the photos I'm gonna highlight. And then if I have another event, I come in here and this is where my backstocks are. So I switch those all out. So I have them all ready to go. But what we're moving towards is having, our Randys are the hardest ones I find to style, but we're starting to put all like bottoms on them. So there we go. So that's how we do it. So then I just click sometimes on one side and other week I'll click on the other side, or sometimes I'll have a full album. So another big thing that people forget to do is offer fashion advice, and people want to hear that from you. Like, even if it's something super, super simple, like how to tie a knot in the back of your Irma. There's going to be people that are like, oh my gosh, I never thought of that. And of course, there's going to be people like, oh, I've seen that a year ago. I know what that is. You know, but even how to pattern mix, like showing people how to pattern mix, it gives them permission to do that. The other night, I showed people how to take the Anna and cover your mom belly, because that's my big problem is like I hardly wear the Anna because my mom belly, my mom pouch is showing. But if you zhuzh it with a knot up closer to your belly, it actually camouflages your belly. So I gave people, and I actually had somebody message me earlier today and was like, hey, I saw your Anna video. Can you pick out one of my size and mail it to me? So, oops, where'd that go? I'm trying to read. You do instructional videos, pictures, write-ups, all the above. I do it all of it. One of the things when Travis and I joined LuLaRoe is my part for him, because we're in a partnership, he had to be active in LuLaRoe, and his requirement for me was that I did videos. And at the time, there was no Facebook Live. So I had to do YouTube videos, but he didn't want them like staged and phony. So it was a one-take rule. So we do instructional videos on YouTube. We are now doing them on Facebook Live. Don't think of Facebook Live as just for sales. Think of it too, like tonight we did cooking with the O'Kleshans. We cooked dinner in our VIP group, and that was it. We didn't sell anything. We didn't style anything. It was just purely them getting to know us on a more intimate level and like seeing what we're cooking for dinner and how we interact with one another. And that's it. So don't be afraid of live. But yeah, we use instructional videos on live and YouTube, and then we post links into our group. Pictures, the same thing. Like I'll take a still photo of how to do a knot in the back of your Irma to make it look kind of like a rosette kind of fireworky thing, and I'll do a still photo for that. And definitely we do write-ups. We do all of that. So, and then do I take photos of each duplicate? Yes, I do. Because if I don't, I'm going to oversell. So every duplicate gets a photo. And then usually I'll style them differently too. So, out of line. I think that's all I have on inventory notes for you guys. Product and oh no, I have something else. Because the big thing right now that people are talking about is, I have no new inventory. What do? I have a party coming up. Do I cancel it? No. Did Macy's just close the door because they forgot to restock last night? No. When you went to Macy's this morning, you didn't know if they stocked or they didn't stock. The same thing with your boutique. People don't know if you got new inventory yesterday or if you got it last week or you got it 3 weeks ago. Love on the inventory you have, just like the sales associate at Macy's. When you walk in and you're like, I need a dress for tonight, they're going to help you find a dress. Does it matter to you if that dress has been on that rack for 3 weeks or 3 minutes? No, if it looks good on you, it's going to look good on you. So just remember that. Give yourself permission to love the merchandise that you have and not worry. Don't worry about what's coming, what you didn't get, what you didn't have time to photograph. That happens to us all the time. Like those leggings, Those we just photographed. It took me 3 weeks to get them photographed. And I was like, Travis was freaking out. And I was like, look, we hardly sell leggings. Why are you freaking out? They have 200 other pairs of leggings to pick from. Because I don't photograph those, nobody's going to even know I have it in the back room. You know, so it's okay. If you don't have new merchandise, you can always take new photos, and kind of jazz things up, do new pairings so people think it looks new. But if you have somebody who truly says to you, you have the same 452 pieces that you had last week, why don't you have anything new? They're probably going to be your new recruit. Because if they know your inventory that well, you need to tell them that. But do it in a nice way. Be like, you know what, you're very detail oriented and you notice things that are like really on point. You have great styling ability. Have you ever thought about becoming a LuLaRoe consultant? I know you'd be a great one and we have spot on our team for you. So if people are noticing that you don't have new inventory, market to them as your new recruit. Let's see, if you have an item that has like a small flaw in it, don't send it back to the warehouse. It's okay. Like super small. I had an Amelia the other day, like a little stitch up here. Definitely something that if I was at Old Navy and I saw something like that, I would ask them for a discount on. It's okay to like do that. You have liberty to do that. You know, you don't have to then send it back or take a photo. I don't even know how to do it. I don't even send my returns back. It's been like so long. Oh, it's a photo. 5 photos, that sheet in Audrey. But if I have a small defect that somebody can like on the seam, if it's sewn wrong, but it can be fixed, offer them $5 off and be like, you know what? I bet you could fix this or bring it to the seamstress. If it's really bad and you need to go to the seamstress, $10 off, but it's still going to save you money from having to send it back to LuLaRoe or save you time of taking that photo, filling out the form, waiting for the new stuff to come. No, you just sell it, love on it. It's still wearable. Whenever I go to Old Navy, I always see that white tag, that white and red tag hanging off things. All the retailers do it. So you got to think like a retailer.
Amelia wants to know where you got your mannequin from.
I got it on Amazon. I think it was like $55 from Amazon. And that was, which one? I have 2 mannequins. I have a little kid mannequin because our daughter, Tatum, she's a love, oh my gosh, she's 6. As she woke up one day and was like all excited and was like, Mom, I had a dream. And I was like, oh dear God, what did her dream entail? She said, I had a dream that I came home from school one day and there was a mannequin. You got me a mannequin that was my size. And I was like, oh, okay. So then like this conversation goes on a couple days later and she's like, so really, I want a mannequin that's my size. And I was like, well, how come? She's like, so it doesn't have boobs because I need to dress up my kid clothes on it and have no boobs. And I was like, oh. So we do. We have a child-sized mannequin. It was like $50 on Amazon too, that we're now putting our children's-size clothes on. But we had ours. Yeah, Amazon's amazing.
Rachel wants to know, talking about wearing the styles, what about styles that just don't fit you very well? She feels like Julia hates her.
There's 2 things I'm going to say about Julia. Number 1, okay, one of my best friends sells LuLaRoe. He does not look good in the Julia either. But he has great sales with the Julia because he puts it on his mannequin and he styles it. And he talks about how it's going to look good on which body type. And if you're this body type, do this with it. If you're that body type, do that with it. And he uses his mannequin as basically his model. I give you liberty to do that. Do that on, you know, the Julia if you're not loving her. Now, another one of my friends, I said that same thing. I think we're on the cruise. Yes, it was on the cruise. Because then I got home and she was like, because I told her I got rid of the Julia. I was no longer carrying her. Same thing with the Perfect. I didn't understand why I would want to buy a shirt that made me look pregnant because I'm not pregnant. I'm trying to look like I've lost my baby weight from 3 years ago. And come to find out, so she then mails me a Perfect 2 sizes smaller than I was buying. I was wearing the wrong size Perfect. Nobody had corrected me. And then she corrected me, and now I love the Perfect. And she said, now put that over the Julia that I know you have in your closet. And I did. And I love the Julia and the Perfect together. But I did not even think to style it that way. Like, and I don't tie, you know how the Perfect has those lines, you know, the fabric, the tails. I don't tie them. What I do is I take them together, I pull them down, and I knot them on each side. So it comes in closer to my body. And I love that. But if you're not going to love on the Julia, totally fine. Put it on your mannequin and do your styling tips from the mannequin. And that's how your sales are going to increase with the Julia. How often do I have my professional photos taken? Not often enough. Travis and I were just talking about that. We've had them done twice in the past year. We definitely have to have them done again. So, and I was so excited that he set him up the last time. And I was like, I didn't have to like bribe him and all that jazz. Like, he just was like, no, I called the photographer. So we did a whole family session. It was nice. Let's see, what other questions did I miss? I think I got everything. Did you guys have other questions for me? Okay. So Michelle just sent me a message, and you can put me on the spot.
Whenever we do Pumped Up Chicks calls, which is Brittany Hunter's team, she always asks everybody, so I'm going to put you on the spot, and can you share your check? So I know that your trainer check was pretty amazing check. It was not like a trainer check. It was like a coach check.
Yeah.
So, and I like people to take that information, of course, and be motivated by it.
Yeah.
And to know that it takes a while. It's not an overnight thing. But are you willing to share your check with us?
I will. So last year, my very first sponsor check, so that was, I got it in November, maybe October actually, no, November. It was like $320, and I was super excited, like to the point I hid it from Travis. I went and cashed it. I got it in cash, and I treated him to dinner, and he was like, oh my gosh, where did we get this extra money from? And I was like, from LuLaRoe, it's amazing. I can't even believe it. And I share that because that was last October, November, when I got the October check in November. And the past, it's just gone crazy. So then in January, when I got my check from Deanne, at leadership for my December bonus check, it was $3,300. I thought that was amazing. So it just kept going up and up and up. Last month, it was almost $16,000. And that's been consistent. Like for the past 4 months, my checks have been about $15,000 each month. Because I was saying how I was like hovering on coach trainer. So yeah, I was already getting the coach check. But this month, I'm probably going to get a check closer to $25,000. That's.
And
crazy.
what are your sales per month on average?
On average, I sell between, on a slow month, 18,000 to 30.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
So before Chris leaves us, anybody else have questions? It's kind of informal. I know we have 25 people on, so hopefully not everybody wants to talk at the same time. But if you guys don't want to chat, I'm completely fine with you unmuting yourself one at a time and asking questions if you guys have anything.
So Elizabeth asked how much my sales were broke on her end. So on a slow month, I'm around 12. Like I've had technically the month we moved, my sales were like $1,500, but that was already planned into our LuLaRoe budget. We knew our inventory we were without for a while. So other than that, 12,000 was our low point, and our peak, actually, I think it was like 35,000. But we're somewhere in the middle traditionally, right around 18 to 20.
You said that you're doing a lot of your sales online, that you don't do a ton of in-home ones. With that, are you doing a ton of that? You said you post once a week in your VIP. Are you just doing a bunch of online pop-ups for customers, or are you doing a bunch of multi-consultants or these permanent hostess ones?
I have never done one of those permanent hostess ones. That kind of like freaks me out a little, like the professional hostess. So we do, like last week alone, we had 8 different events. So over 7 days, 8 events. So when I we do one VIP sale a week, that's Wednesday night, we always do our VIP album sales. So that we're probably never going to get out of album sales. That's what our customer base was like grown from, is albums. But we also threw in there a live sale on Saturday night. Our son does it with us, our 12-year-old, and he's LuLaBro B, and he earns his spending money that way. So we teach him a value of $1, and he's funny. He actually has figured out that he's getting the short end of the stick because his sales are really, really good on Saturday nights. And usually we just buy him a video game. So that was it. So we did our VIP albums. We did a live sale with Brandon. We did a multi-consultant with somebody that we sponsor. They run this huge multi-consultant event. So the past couple times we've tried it out with them because I want to see what all my girls are doing and my guys. So that was kind of cool to see that. We're not big into multi-consultants, but I did want to try it out where a large portion of our team is doing this one in particular sale, and it's run ridiculously crazy awesome by this husband-wife team in our team. So in order for me to better coach them, I need to understand it. So that was 3. We do a styling box subscription. And so that was this week was what was accounted in our sales as one of the events. So I had to style 30 outfits. And it's all pre-buy, sight unseen. Let's see, what else do we do for this week? We did a live sale on our team fan page, which is totally different. I know a lot of fan pages people just use for advertising. And we've switched over to our fan page is moderately advertising and live sales. Are done in there 2 times a day. So we did 1 round of that. What else? We did private stylings with a couple customers via like PMs and Facebook Messenger. We do fundraising events online. Travis once a month does a LuLaBro sale, the original LuLaBro. He started that. So he does that. He does that with Randy and Tori Macy's husband and Garrett Shaw, Mark Spence. Who else was in there?
Randy,
That's what I said. Randy.
Phil.
Oh, Phil Russell. I forgot my sponsor. So we diversify. When I say private party, we did a private party last week. We do a private party weekly with up to 4 hostesses. So we diversify what we do.
Can you
hustle.
explain your box, your subscription that you do?
Yeah. So actually, I have it right here. I have my notes because
I think the easiest way to do it is to have a look. But you can explain it.
Yeah, I'll explain it. I don't have to show them the Google form. He gets me distracted. Sorry, guys. So we have them fill out a Google form, and they pick their price point, either $60, $70, or $80. And they could pick also a child or an adult. We do one or the other. If it's a child's row box that we do, it's called Rock Your Row for the adult or the child. But Rock Your Row, the child box, Tatum, our 6-year-old, helps me style those. So that's why she needed her mannequin, because she was doing styling. They tell us their sizes, or if they don't know their sizes, they kind of tell us, like if they were to go to a department store, what would they buy? They tell me what their dislikes are. It's interesting because people know my styling, and so I went to a convention and I wore a Turdma. That kind of scared some of my subscribers, and they wrote in their subscription, like, please nothing that has pine cones. Well, of course, I don't wear pine cone Turdmas normally on a normal basis, but I did for convention. The same thing I got this month was, please no fruit, because nobody wants that fruit dress. So from there, I then go and I open up our newest boxes and I pick a piece, and then I go back on the racks and I pick an older piece and I make them rock together. And then I put it in a cute little envelope, and I also put in an accessory that I've either gotten from department stores on clearance, like with, like I'll go to like JCPenney's online and I'll order in bulk, or Charmin Charlie's, or Dillard's and stuff like that. And they'll always get like an accessory piece, which is kind of like they're free. So they're paying MAP, but they're getting an accessory added on to this plus my service. So that's how I do it.
Sarah had also asked over in the chat box, how many people are working your business? She wants to know if you have assistants or a nanny or a housekeeper.
Oh, okay. So technically, yes. Let's see. So our youngest child is 3. He goes to preschool now. Before we moved, he was only going 2 days a week, and now he goes full time. That is an amazing help. So I do most of my work when my kids are either sleeping or at school. So between 10 and 2, I do a lot of my work. We do now have a housekeeper. Actually, we have 4. It's I don't even know how I got blessed with such like amazingness. I thought I was hiring one for the cost. I pay $100 a week, and they come and they do all my floors, they do all my bathrooms, they do everything. That would take me about 10 hours to clean, and I give them $100. It's amazing. Time management wise, we do a lot of times the HelloFresh, the meal subscription service. It all gets sent to us. We still have to chop it up and cook it, but within 30 minutes, I have a fresh meal on the table. That's not any higher cost than if I went through the Chick-fil-A drive-through. So to me, that's like I have almost a personal chef, and it's really good. So we utilize, which I know Michelle in your area, you should probably have it, the Harris Teeter, but we have it as Kroger here. You click everything online, what you want for your groceries, and then you pick it up at the store. I don't even have to go in. I just go and park in a little spot, and they bring it out to me. That saves me time right there. So I don't have anybody. Travis and I do it all on our own in the boutique. We take our own photos. We do our own packaging, our own shipping, all of that jazz. But we do outsource some of the things like taking care of our kids, the preschool. We don't have a nanny because they're in school. And I like to get them off to school in the morning. I like to pick them up in the afternoon. I like to go to all their activities. That's why I work at home. So that's what we do.
Amanda's fiance wants to number every item in their inventory, and she wants to know if that's unnecessary. And she went on to just to describe that he wants to get a tag done and put an inventory number on each piece. What do you think about that?
Is it so that you don't oversell? Is that like, what is the, because I've seen people do it.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. He's worried about overselling, and he wants to be able to go and pick for me. He's trying very hard to be helpful. I worry that he's overcomplicating the process. So he wants to be able for me to say, go pick 14707. And he can, okay, and he'll go and grab that number. That seems asinine to me. So I'm wondering what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I would probably go crazy with that. I've seen other people that love that system. That's not how I would be comfortable with it. That's why when we have duplicates, even with our leggings, if I have 3 of the exact same pair of leggings, I take 3 photos. If we have 50 pairs of black leggings, we have 50 photos of black leggings. So as we sell something, we delete it from our inventory. I think, yeah, with me, I would want to have everything numerically ordered, but then what happens? I think I would get confused by that, but it might work for other people.
It's going to be different for me if I'm not posting in my VIP group, but in my VIP group, in my albums, this is probably very OCD, but all of the stuff on my rack is in the order of the pictures on my Facebook album. So if I say, hey, Josh, go pull this small red, perfect, he's able to look and see that it's the 3rd small and go right there. So I just kind of keep that in sync, but I'll go through and kind of go through my inventory weekly just to kind of make sure that everything's been deleted and everything's still kind of in order, but it doesn't really take me that long once I get into the process of it because everything's already there and I'm just kind of going through everything, making sure, but it allows him to be able to help me a lot easier.
Yeah. Amanda, is he confused by maybe like the different styles? Like he doesn't know what an Amelia is versus a Julia because maybe you need to like label it for him. I know Travis had a hard time with that at first.
We have style and size dividers up. So if I say go and get the orange extra small Amelia, it's there where it should be, except for just recently where I screwed it up and couldn't find something. But he really think because he sells siding for a living, and he's like, well, that's how we do siding. And I'm like, that's not how I do LuLaRoe. So chill.
Let me show you what we did for ours because I still have we still have trouble finding. Hold on, I'm moving the camera. So this is behind Chris. That's the back of her head. We have 2 monitors.
Oh.
And then we have there you go. And then we have a TV. It's a 3rd monitor. We only use this typically when we pull orders.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll throw that up there and say, hey, can you go pull this, Randy? And she can see it from the other side of the room.
Okay.
And I mean, really, a cheap TV for $100, totally worth it.
It's going to save you. It's going to be cheaper to do that TV than get all the tags and label everything.
Not to mention the time.
Yeah, and your time is valuable.
Right.
So.
Right. And we do the same thing. We take pictures of everything.
Yeah.
And I typically delete it as I go.
Plus, no, we also have, it doesn't cost anything extra to have an extra cable box. And we have Netflix. So when the kids are out here, we can turn on Netflix or turn on the cable box and she can watch her HGTV and everything.
Legit.
It's a win-win-win all the way around.
I was hesitant at first because originally we started running our business. We had one computer monitor. Makes sense. Like, that's how I grew up, one computer monitor. And then he convinced me, no, we needed two. And I was like, he just wants to spend my money. And then I saw the reasoning that made sense. And then when he said he wanted to get a TV, I was like, you were joking me. You just want to spend my money. But now I see his vision. So now we have a TV as a monitor.
It's not used very often.
No, it's mostly used as a computer.
Just the two screens on the desk.
Yeah.
Invoicing is a breeze. If you don't have two screens, you should get another one.
Let's see.
Go ahead, ask me that question.
I feel bad for making you guys go over an hour, and we're almost at the hour mark. So the last two questions are, Tabitha put, so when you post in parties, you don't post your entire inventory. You're picking and choosing what's posted. So if you can clarify that. And then Amanda wanted to know if you use sellit.social or any other services to help you guys along with your online sales.
So when we do an online party or a VIP, we typically do not do our full inventory. I like to keep it across the board at 10 so that, say if I only had 11 medium Hermes, but then I have 21 large Hermes, the girl that's wearing the large is going to feel like, well, how come she has so many more? And then the medium girl is going to say, I feel slighted. But if I have everything equal, I find my sales are actually better. That's just what I find from my customer base. It might work different from yours. I like to have everything equaled out so everybody has the same viewing options. The same thing. The same thing for the private party. I do the same thing. And then when we do a multi-consultant, which is rare, we post everything. Everything gets posted because it doesn't matter. There's so much stuff with, if we're with 5 or 10 other people, it all mixes out to the same anyways. And then do we use Sell It Social or other services like that? So we use Sell It Social is the one that we pull our report from, right?
Yeah.
So we save all of our Sell It Social reports. So that way, if somebody a week later says, this isn't the Irma that I claimed, I can pull it up and I can be like, oops, you're right. Or I can be like, oh, actually you did. You said pass on that one you're thinking you got. And I have proof for them, not to be like, no, I'm right, you're wrong, but to be like, oh, don't you remember? And I have her comment right there, and I can show her. It makes it so much cleaner and easier. Or, if I'm like, crap, did I really not delete that photo? I at least can go back to my Sell It Social, and I can see that I really forgot. But that's the only service that we use is the Sell It Social.
Typically what we do is we'll post all of our inventory, and then by that time it is get the kids ready for bed because we do it at 7 Central, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they go to bed at 8. So we post everything, answer a few questions, and then when we come back from getting the kids to bed, then we'll do a poll with all comments. So we'll run a report with all comments, and then we'll just run through every comment and answer, is this black or is this blue, et cetera, et cetera. And then another hour passes, then we'll do the same thing. And we'll add, if somebody says leggings, then we'll ask if they want to buy a shirt with it, et cetera.
The black and white we get a lot of, and I bet you guys do too. Is this navy or is it black? And a lot of times when I'm answering questions, I'm laying down with one of our kids or I'm getting them ready for bed. So I'll be answering on my phone. I can't just jump up and come and check. So what I've done when I've done my photos, if it's navy, I'll pair it with red. And so that way, if I look in my accessory and the photo is red, I know it's navy. Kind of is an easy easy one for me. So, do we do a lot of giveaways? Not really. Travis does if I leave him unmonitored. And then he forgets to tell me about it.
Oh, no.
It hasn't happened in a while, but it does. But we're switching to Freebie Fridays, and so we're giving away stuff, and not necessarily even LuLaRoe stuff. The thing that
Can you guys hear me? So I typed, guess that means we just need to let you guys go and have time without us crazy ladies. Well, you can hear me, so thank you guys so much for getting on. It's been way past our time anyway, so I would never expect you guys to spend much more with us since you were here for an hour, but it was awesome having you. I think that this is the most interaction that we've had in a webinar, and we've had a good number of guest speakers, including even some mentors, and I think that this has been the most helpful that we've had. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys getting on, and we're going to go ahead and close it out. If you guys have any other questions that you're like dying for an answer to, then message it to me, and I can always message them and see if they can shoot us an answer back, okay? Thank you guys, everybody. Have a wonderful night. See ya.